Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And we are creating content for Dungeons. We usually create content for Dungeons and Dragons. This is just a landscape painting for the fun of it. So give me a second here. I'm going to check in on my signal, make sure everything's coming through clearly. I'm going to do my social media posts. It's going to take less than a minute, and then we're going to get up and running here with some more artwork today. But checking in on my signal to make sure I sound clear. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Cool, let's drop that down there. I'm going to grab my social media, my link here. We don't get the post. We don't get the link to our videos until we go live. And so that's why you always see the please wait or like starting soon, a little timer, because we're all in the background scrambling to get the links to our social up on the social media and that we're live and stuff like that. But I've completed that process, so let me go ahead and fix this here. If you find today fun, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. You can check out more of my work in the description down below if you're interested. But in the meantime, let's just get back to work. We're currently working on this little grassy knoll here. Here's our piece in general. Here's our reference. You can see here we don't have any foreground islands here, but I've just been using this basically as a color, texture, and just environmental reference piece. It's inspiring the creation of what we have. So this is what we have so far. We're going to build a reflection for this once this knoll is completed. So I guess let's just get back to work. So I'm gonna look back here and see some stone. Maybe we want to do something similar to that. So this is where we are at with this piece. Oh, that's right. We were going to find some highlights for the shrubbery down here. That's what I wanted to do, to punch that up a little bit. So let's see if we can find some traces of green back here we can use as a reference. Brilliant. Push that up a little bit. So a little bit more contrast. Cool. Now we have that going, and we can drop the trees from the background. And tree line. Let's remove those so we have our separation here first. Merge this down. Yeah, that's good. And let's see, a new layer here. Let's grab a brush that we think is going to be fun to use. Let's, how about we go with, let's go with our foliage. Yeah, let's try our scatterburst. Cool, I bet this will work out. So we're going with the top curve of the shrubbery that we've created here, like that, and then we're going to use the same brush underneath it to erase so we can create curved layers. And let's go, let's say 50%. I'm just going to stipple tap my eraser underneath here just to fatigue the green a little bit without destroying it, just to reduce its strength. So we can see that these bushes here have a natural curvature to them. So I want to lean into that curve. And erase that a little bit. Now I've got enough strength in here that I can reintroduce our shrubbery, or our trees in the background, and they shouldn't interfere with the greenage that we're doing here. There, tap that in, and then erase that a little bit. Then here, and erase that a little bit. There, it's similar to Bob Ross's technique. That's where I created these brushes by watching a whole lot of Bob Ross videos and creating little stipple stamps, kind of like Japanese block prints. That's basically how it operates. Stipple, it's stippling where you're tapping little instances of color, and then smudging where you're streaking it. That's basically everything that Bob does is stipple and smudge. Stipple and smudge, stipple and smudge, stipple and smudge. There, we just add in the layers here to help create some shape. And then we'll gray those out here at the base. Fade all that out, just let it work its way in. I don't want to be too gentle with it. I just want to drop this stuff in so that it starts fading into the general piece. That should look pretty good. How are we doing down here? Cool. Now let's go into the, let's grab another brush. Let's grab our conifer tips brush. I just want to create some ground noise. You know what? No, let's go with let's go with our chisel. Let's make some rocks like I was talking about. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to add this to the foreground. That color is far too similar to what's going on in the grass already. So we're going to reseed that. We're going to stay with this as our primary color and then use that darker color just as some shade. But here, I'm going to bulk this rock up a little bit here. Let's go to a round brush to erase. Something like that. There. Let's push this down a little bit so we get some separation from that shrubbery we just made. Ooh, this looks like a fun spot to drop a rock. Let's do that. And I'm going to use a lighter opacity. I'm going to do a fade along the edge of the rock, and then we're going to put grass in front of it to help lock it down into the into the tarmac. There, we'll do that, and I'm going to add another layer here for the rock, like this. Blend that in here like that. That feels pretty good. Do another little blot of stone here as well, just to break up the shape a little bit, maybe. We'll see how this turns out. I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. So far, so good. So what? No, I don't think I do like that. I like the idea of a rock being here. I want a smaller one though. I don't want this stuff overwhelming the landscape. I just want it a part of the landscape. That creates a good contrast point. Merge those down, and now we have another layer here. Drop that in. I need to see my tools. Hold on. Cool. There we go. Okay, cool. That's good. Now we can go with shadow. So we got the light coming in from this side here. So we will abide by the laws. You know, I'm going to go with a lighter tone here like that. Let's see if we can make a cool texture here. Let's grab the same hard chisel brush and use it to smudge. Let's push some stuff around here a little bit. I don't know if I like this or not, honestly. I'm just exploring ideas right now. We're just having some fun. The idea of dropping a rock in here isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do, but it's what my heart told me to do, so I did it. Maybe it was just there just to mess with me. That happens sometimes. All right, let's switch back. That smudge brush isn't working, so let's just go. Ooh, let's go to our guitar pick. It's got a sharp, hard edge, but it's easy to push pixels with it. So that'll probably work out for the best for us. There we go. Let's use that. So I'm going to cut in here and make some worn shapes. And maybe we'll, I don't know, maybe we'll get some moss on it or something. Let's get the form figured out, and then we'll embellish it with some decor. That's starting to feel about right. Add some more here. Get rid of that. Add some more lighting in here from the adjacent shrubbery to help bring in some darkness into here. There we go. It's not so bad. Break it up a little bit with some interesting texture. Let's just drop in some shadow or some highlight onto that. Good. There you go. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Now let's go over to here and add in some texture over here, or rather some lighting over here to create some shape. There we go. Push that there. We're just basically sculpting shape onto this rock by pushing the shadows around and adjusting where the lighting hits it. And we'll sink this into the terrain by adding some plant life around it to get rid of that hard bottom edge there. Smooth that out there with some easy highlight, and then we'll add more shadow back in here. There, we'll do that. And I feel like I'm going to merge this down. Get rid of that little burry bit. Smooth out that edge there to get rid of any of the little burrs. Very good. Smooth in through here, get rid of the burrs. Very good. Smooth that out a tig. Yeah, not so bad. One more layer for darker shadow. So we'll grab them over here. Let's go with a hard 100% and push that in, and then start smudging this into the rock. There we go. So wherever the darkest, I mean, with the light coming from this direction, the trees being in the way, there's going to be some loss. Let's just take this and smudge it in. Yeah, I'm liking that. Probably want to add a little bit of a chalky texture to it, so I'm going to have to. I'm liking how the lighting on this and the shadows are looking. I'm liking the lighting of it, the values, but the texture isn't where I need it to be at yet. So we're going to have to add a roughening texture. And we'll figure that out in a minute. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I know we can do it. So we'll figure that out next. A lot of this is just going by feels. So I've done about 120 Bob Ross paintings in Photoshop like this. So I'm getting a pretty good feel for it. The techniques, rather. I can extract the techniques from his painting specifically and apply them to new stuff, which is ultimately what he was trying to teach us. How to create our own landscapes from our own dreams. Yeah, let's add a little bit more dark into here. That feels really, really good. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so now we want to start thinking about the texture. So we'll do a separate layer for the texturing, which is just going to basically be some stippling, some color bits in here to break up the smoothness of that form. Let's grab this color, since it's the color we're already using here, and slope that in to help flat. Nice. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Let's go over here and darken this down back here. Yeah, there we go. Merge this down. And now let's add a little bit of texture to it. Adding texture is just taking the highlight that we've already used and pockmarking it across the shape. So let's add that in there, and then I'm just getting rid of these little imperfections here that aren't natural for rocks. That feels pretty good. And that rock looks, it's got some bird edges there that we need, burr edges that we need to get rid of. BRR, burr. There, we'll merge that down, and then we'll repeat. Here, let's grab this highlighter layer here, and let's just dust some of this stuff into here like that. And then we're going to use the same eraser here, like at 70%. So we're just creating some cacophonous stipple marks here, and we're working them in, so they're going to end up looking like broken angles and chop. Hey, Fox. Ha! Thanks, Fox. Appreciate you, my man. I'm doing it in the shadow because that's where we have the most opportunity to, because there's a close in value between here and the shadow here. They're very close in value, as in value meaning light and dark. So I want to add texture throughout the dark spots here with lighter color to help lighten the rock, to help pull it out of the terrain around it. And then in the highlighted part, we'll add shadow to help create more uniformity. Just basically going on here and chop. I don't really care about how the stuff sits and lands, because I'm just basically creating, and see, it creates this little mottled effect that it's just texture. It's just noise and texture. And your eye is going to translate that into rocky stuff going on here. And I don't have to particularly explain or justify any of it. I just need to work the rock texture into the value until it just is loud and it's frequent and random enough that your eye just gives up on it. That's what we want to do. We want to make your eye quit investigating it. I give up. This looks fine. That's where we want the eye to go. I'm gonna add some more chop like that and fade that in. Nice. Yeah, up in here a little bit more. It's a cheap texturing trick, but it works really, really well. You can see we're low key here, adding extra lines and shapes and ripples in its form. I'm going to stay here and then work on this rock down here a little bit similarly. Get that patterning in. Stay inside the lines there. And work that down, and then here again we can create little ridge effects in here. There we go. All right, so that feels pretty good. Let's erase that a little bit. Okay, cool. Now we're going to do a separate layer with the shadow. We're going to tack that along the highlights here to create consistency. See, I'm switching from shadow to light to shadow, but I'm using the same brush and technique so the texturing remains consistent across the different values. That helps make the texture of the piece consistent when the lighting isn't. So it creates another layer of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not thinking of the word. I'm trying to, yeah, it just accepts it. There you go. I can't think of the word there's a word I'm trying to think of. If I can think of it, I'll tell you. There. I'm going to use some more highlights over here to help further define the shape of the rock, just because we can. Because the muse told me to. That, work that in. There we go. I'm starting to get a groove for this piece. I'm starting to have a little bit more meaning and intention behind where I'm placing the shadows, because I'm starting to see the shape of the rock inside of the texture. It's taking a form and pattern that I can see where its shapes and its ripples are at. So I'm trying to lean into what I'm starting to see manifest inside of the mess. Like that. There. I tell you what, man, the Eberron adventure, the asset packet that I'm creating is kicking the fuck out of me. It is so goddamn obnoxious. I spent I think 3 hours yesterday basically tearing apart my forest maps into individual trees and trunks. We have a canopy of trees now. We have tree canopy of leaves that sit over the skeleton of a trunk and the branches, so that here, I'll show you guys real quick, just for the lulz. Let's see. Give me a hot second. I want to hop over here just to show you guys what I've been doing off screen. Crystals of Mabar, and then artwork. I thought this stuff would go fast, but goddamn, I'm an idiot. It did not go fast. It is taking time. The PDF is done. I could publish it today, but I want to include all the maps and shit like that go along with it, and that stuff takes time. So here's stuff like here are conifer trees, and here's deciduous trees. Let's grab, and then we have the empty forest floor as a base template. So let's grab that real quick. Here's our base map template. It's 70 pixels, so it perfectly conforms to Roll20. It just automatically snaps to grid. But then let's grab, conifer trunk number 1. And then let's grab conifer shrubbery, conifer canopy number 1. So we have a whole bunch of pre-assembled maps. Hold on here, like for instance, go to region B, and then we go to a random deciduous map. So here's a random map surface that we've created. It's got thickets, bramble thickets. It's got clumps of rock. It's got the surface, and then it's got a bunch of trees. And then each of these trees, like in this example here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones. So we could go through here and say grab the random encounter brush here, copy, paste. Image size. And that snaps to this position. So when you're looking, if I were to take the time to fill in all the rest of this stuff in a virtual tabletop, I will put this base layer down on the map layer, and then these trees sit above that layer. So when your characters walk underneath the canopy of this tree, the DM can drop it into the DM layer so it becomes invisible, so the team can walk underneath the canopy of this tree and see what's underneath here. And we have these canopies for all these sections. So I've been, like I said, I'm going to hit here, click here for no, and then click here for no, just to get rid of this stuff. But separating all these things into their individual assets, you can see here's the base, and then you can add in, we got 10 different conifer trees and 10 deciduous trees. This is a conifer tree pattern where your characters can climb up on these branches to get away from monsters if they need to, or hide in there if they want to ambush somebody. But each of these trees that we have their corresponding canopies, and they're all built at 70 DPI, and they all snap to grid. So like this one is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 by what, 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 11 by 10. So when we built this, we actually snap it to grid so that when you import it into Roll20, it just automatically snaps in position inside the grid lines. So that's what I've been doing a lot of tree assets, forest floor stuff, the monster tokens themselves that operate inside of that space, fighting the characters. It's a lot. It's a lot of goddamn assets. A lot more than honestly I didn't think it was going to take this long to do all this stuff, because I'm horrible management of time. So I definitely should not have this as a full-time job yet, because I'm still trying to figure out how to manage my, like, accurately predict how long it takes for me to do something. So I'm doing, that's what I'm doing in the evenings. That's how I'm absorbing all my time, trying to get this stuff done so I can get that fucking thing published, so we can start, because that's what I'm doing in the evenings. Instead of working on the other books that we want to publish, in the evenings I'm working on the asset packets, because watching me extract images, resizing them, labeling them with specific names, and then dropping them into a zip folder is not exciting streaming content, like, at all. So I've got this gap, I've got this production gap that we got going on here, and boy oh boy, it's obnoxious. There's so many assets that we're including in that Eberron adventure that it's slowing us down, and I wouldn't do it any other way, but I sure hate that how it's being done. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense. Let's grab this highlight in here. Like we made corn maze, like 10 by 10, like 50 foot by 50 foot areas of corn mazes. Like, I think there's like 25 different types of corn maze paths, like straight paths, curved paths, switchbacks, clusters, crossroads that divide out. But it's all into this corn maze pattern that lets you tile together basically endless paths that undead are running around inside the cornfields, and you can't see them until you get up on them. So they're a threat that, you know, you can expand on that if you want. Into we just mentioned it casually. Hey, there's undead out there, but now here's a whole bunch of corn maze tiles you can use to make as extensive a corn maze with all sorts of monsters inside of them if you want to, which I'll then be able to float around at Halloween to make a corn maze scenario thing. I can also use them for forest clearings at the 50-foot scale for kaiju combat. Running around in forests, these clearings that get bashed down from kaiju running through a forest. It creates these natural pathways, so that becomes the adventure dungeon. I mean, you can always rise up above the cornfields and get an aerial view of where the monsters are at. But it's a fun little terrain just to play around inside of. I'm really getting happy with these rocks. Really, really liking how this texture is turning out. I hate how long it takes to do everything, but I love the result of it. So the labor pain sucks, but that's what hones my ability to create this stuff, is that the painstaking process and slowness of everything is honestly what ends up making this all work in the first place. There. I like that texture. That feels really, really good. So let's add in some more here. Dust it across there. Just get the same noisy mess on this rock as we have on its neighbor there. And then we'll embed it. We'll sink it into the terrain by putting tufts of grass and little flowers and shit around it, which we'll do next. Hey, what's up? Man, I forgot about the cornrows. VT stuff, so the players could only see the rows they are in as they pass from now row to row. Monsters are rushing back and forth the rows. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, corn mazes are cool. So I think there's like, I want to see there's 28 different 50 by 50. Here, I'll show you real quick, just because we can. For anyone that's out there looking. Part 1, Region A, Cornfield Maze Tiles. Here's all the different maze tiles that we have. There's curves, there's diagonals, there's straight paths, there's knots. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 4 is 32. There's 34 different cornrow assets. Here's one of them. 5-foot squares. Anywhere that undead, anything that's out here on the paths, you can see clearly. Anything in here is heavily obscured, but you have advantage to hear them while they're moving through the corn mazes, but you can't see them until they actually break out into a 5-foot area. So I could have a whole bunch of ghouls hanging out here in the corn, and you can hear them moving around as they do. But until they actually pop out onto the path, you can't actually visualize and target them. You can only target the general direction that they're in, which gives them advantages on their saves and stuff like that. So, anyway. Because they are huge, but they make you feel very, very... Yes, exactly. Definitely. Fun shit. I'm looking forward to having that published so that I can repackage it later into, like, I can have like Cult of the Corn as a Halloween adventure where there's cultists in the cornfields killing people and you got to get rid of them or something. Or like the scarecrows are animating and taking life, and so they're roaming the thicket, attacking people or whatever. You can put like a structure, like you could have in the corn maze. There's the corn mazes themselves, but then you could have like bullet tunnels throughout it. If there's bullets in your cornfields, then they could ambush any medium-sized human or horse-type creatures that are in the vicinity. So at different, if we were to make a cornfield maze, we could have some unique tiles that we build to have like breaches in the ground that lead into underground tunnels. So we could have the cornfield paths above, and then we can have the bullet tunnels underneath. To have a difference between soft and hard maze. A soft maze is like I was saying, it's established lines and paths. But you can enter the wall, like the quote-unquote walls of the corn stalks, it's not an absolute barrier. You can cross into that if you don't mind like difficult terrain to thrash your way through it at half movement, and to increase the amount of noise that you're making, you're at disadvantage on stealth checks and advantage on perception checks for anything that's inside of there. Trim that down a little bit here like that. I'm gonna add another layer here just for the volume of it. There, I'm almost done with this. I don't have to go completely crazy on this, but I want to get it to the point where I like that. Yeah, that feels pretty good. That's pretty good. That's decent texture. So we can be content with those. That's our rocks. Rock. Shrubbery, rocks, and now we'll do some more. We'll be able to dot in some more stuff into these little gaps in here. So we just keep building up in front of everything and keep pushing it forward. We're going to, what is it? It's 7:20 now, so we got about a half hour left. So we'll probably finish up this here, and then tomorrow we'll be able to start in on this foreground knoll. But in the meantime, let's grab ourselves some tasty texture here and here. And let's grab our Let's start with our grass blades, and then we'll transition into something else. Intentionally building up some bulk around the base of this rock. And now I'm going to grab the same brush with 100% pull. Let's do, that's not working right. Let's try 70 something. And then we'll use a eraser here to chop through it a little bit. Again, we add and then we smudge, we add and we erase, we add. And we smudge and then we erase. There we go. Now it's starting to look pretty good. Grab and just lift a little bit just to get some tuft. There we go. And we'll erase it this a little bit just to drop it into the train, smudge on it a little bit to resolve the base. And now it's sinking into the train nicely. I locked up there for a second. I hit save because my system's getting a little fidgety. I'll add in some more here. There we go. Break that up a little bit just to sink it in. Add some more over here. Push that up a little bit just for some texture variety, and then erase that a little bit. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Now I'm going to add actually I'm going to finish out this this darker layer here before we move on. So I'm going to do the same thing around this rock here, just add in some basing terrain like that, and then chop at it a little bit with the eraser, and then layer it back in. There we go. Erase that. I like this song a lot. This makes me want to listen to MIA. There we go. That's pretty good terrain. Just using a light eraser here just to fade it in a little bit. But again, noise creates the eye accepts it. The more you can add in, the more cacophonous texture you can add in, the more it generally feels right. There we go. Just add all that in here, get some texture up here into the rock. And now I'm just dotting it along the landscape just to sink the bottom of these bushes into the terrain as well. Since I'm here, it's an easy pull. So here, and then we're going to use a highlight layer to bring out a little bit more. Fucking feels really, really good. We're going to add another layer so we can start stacking texture up on top of each other to get rid of any of the bald spots here. We're going to fill in with more of this grassiness here. And by layering it, we aren't touching any of the stuff underneath it that we've already done, so we can safely add more bulk without disrupting any of the delicious texture that we've already laid down. Delicious. There we are. Just keep dotting it in and erasing to smudge it in. I'm going to just grab this and smudge at it a little bit just because I can. And then erase a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to have to resolve this this water line here, because just having this curved texture down into it isn't good enough. We're going to have to add breaks in soil and some mottled bits. But we're not quite there yet. I'm going to add another layer, and we're going to switch over to this, which is a lighter color. So we can start adding this in here and fading that into the terrain. And pull at that a little bit. So you get some grass sprigs up and running, like that. Fade it in a little bit, and then pull at it. I'm going to need to do a lot of different. I'm going to actually merge these down, and then we're going to start separating these. It's important that I not overlap these too heavy. I need to do, when I'm doing these highlights like this, and especially like when I'm pulling on sprigs to create little shoots, I need to make sure that I don't layer any of these things too closely to each other, so that they can they can remain individuals. As I continue to add up bulk, it's going to become more and more important to keep them separated. So I'm going to have less and less room around the environment to add things without disrupting somebody else's texture. So I'm going to start. So I'm already starting to impede on another area. So I'm going to add another layer to keep those separated from each other, and then I'm going to fade in the base. I'm going to add a little. I'm going to actually drop this behind that. That feels like fun. So let's pull on this because we can. And then we're going to erase at it a little bit just to fade it in. This one here. And I can merge these together as we go. I don't need to keep them separated. I am going to add the next layer underneath or behind the current layer. There, I'm going to sit here and pull at these a little bit, and then erase. Bob might be able to do them more quickly, but I'm pretty happy with the results of this in Photoshop. And I've got about 20 minutes left, so we'll finish up this grass in here for sure. I might do like a little bit of like little white speckles for wildflowers or something, maybe. That could be fun. Let's consider that for a few minutes while I pull on these strands. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Again, I don't need to overdo it. But the repetitiveness, again, the repetitiveness, it's the repetition that sells the pattern. Work that into the ground. Do another layer here before I break my own shit. I'm going to reduce the size of the brush a little bit and then erase it in. There we go. Add another layer. We're just going layer crazy right now. It's the layers that add depth, because we have stacking texture and line work over each other without interrupting each other. So it sells as like bench row seats, you know? It all blends together. So far, so good. So what? Let's add a little bit more in, and then we'll be done with this part. There we go. That feels pretty good. Let's see. That's all our grassiness. So let's add all of that together as high grass. And then very mild. Let's go with a very mild purple. And let's grab a new brush that we haven't used. Let's see. What can we use? Yeah, let's just go with this foliage texture brush, just this generic one. We're going to take that, we're going to thin it down a little bit. That's what it looks like. So we're going to make this very, very small. We're going to tip it up. And let's tip it down. Let's see how this feels. I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. No, I don't think I like that. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to use a different brush. We need a different pattern. Let's see. Did not like that. Let's try this faded foliage brush. Maybe that'll work for us. But we will use the other eraser to pick at this. There we go. So we're using this brush here that looks like that. So we're going to do that up here for a moment. And then we're using this brush here, which has a different scatter pattern, that when we tap and erase at it, it leaves just these little specks. And those little specks end up cheating as little wildflowers that are poking through here. And we're going to do another layer here so we can keep them stacking up without interrupting each other's pattern. Let's do another couple in here. There you go. And then let's just do a little bit over here. And then a couple more over here like that. I don't care about the bottom, I just want the tips. There we go. And then add a little more like this. Another, again, breaking them up into multiple layers so I don't mess with my own texture. It's actually pretty important. Get rid of that in front of the rock. We fade that in here like that. And then we'll do some more over here. Inviting another layer to get dropped in. There we go. Like that. Here like that. Sometimes I forget the techniques that I'm using. I have to go back to old videos to remember what I did. That's fun. Now we're starting to get a neat little nice little patch. I'm going to add another layer here so I don't disrupt it. Go to there and there. Put that on the rock. Trim it down to thin it out a little bit. There we go. And then like that. Almost there. We're just doing tons and tons of layering here. Just a couple stipples here and there, and then a new layer. A couple more stipples, and then a new layer. That's how we can build up mass. Then another layer to go on top of that. There we go. Yeah, it feels pretty good. So we'll leave that. Yeah, see, now we have a whole bunch of noise going on here, and it looks a lot more lived in. I feel like I'm going to come back through here and put some dots in here as well to link these two together. So let's do that. We'll go wild grass. We'll go, we'll call this flower tips. Let's go into our shrubbery back line here and our back water line there. Above the shrubbery. Let's try it like this. Nope. Hate it. Immediately hate that. Yeah, we're just going to dot across here. And then we're going to take our eraser and we're going to crank it up to... No, it's already at 100%. It's already cranked. Definitely going to just like mass erase underneath the water line. You can't have this stuff bleeding into the water. That would be chaos. So we got this running line here. That's our water's edge. So as long as we're staying above that line with this stuff, we're gonna be okay. Let's keep trimming that down. Stay above that water line, and then we're going to go through and we're going to erase a lot more of this. This is just the base that we're at. I don't need to probably do more than just a single passing layer of this, but I'm also going to need to add some green to the top of the shrubbery that we're working. Ah, fuck, and I got to reflect it down into the water as well. Okay, we'll figure that out. Right now we're just going to thin it down a little bit, just like a real quick dusting. I'm going to drop it down to like... Why aren't you changing? There it is. Okay, opacity 60%, that feels good. So we can dust, I can just... Oh, wait. %100 there. There we go. Okay, I'm back on task. Nope, not working out the way that I wanted it to. Maybe 40% eraser. That feels better. There we go. Okay, I can dot across there. So I'm trying to use a light eraser so I can fade the saturation of that color, so it works further away is less saturation. So I have to work that accurately into the piece. Let's get on to. We have this green that we pulled. Let's grab some of that. And that's going to use our foliage scatter burst. So let's reduce the size of that. And let's conceal our tree line so we can see where the actual shrubbery is. I don't have to go crazy over here. Let's poke at this a little bit with our light eraser, with just to reduce the intensity of it. There we go. There. What's up? Hey, Phil. Hey, Harvey. Just finished my tarot system. Oh, right on, man. Sorry, you got a big ask as a level 14 wizard, fully blue. What would be a mana count? 14th level? What kind of mana count? What's your mana for 14th level? I don't recall offhand. Hold on. We'll go to Marshall's real quick. As a wizard, Control F, wizard. Why aren't you? There it is, wizard. We'll get there. There we go. 14th level wizard has 52 mana. And it takes 7 for a 7th level spell, 6 for a 6th level spell, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 14th level, 52. There you go. 19 prepared spells. Cheers. Pure blue. Very nice, my man. Nothing like monochrome to make you strong. Cheers, cheers. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, in the Bastion campaign, when we're actually running that, a long rest is one Bastion turn. And then we have 7 nights, and each night is a short rest. So the wizard, at 14th level, the wizard gets 7 mana back on a short rest, and all 52 back on a long rest. So over the course of 7 days, you get 52 plus 5 times 7 times 7 is 49. 49 plus 52 is 101. So you'll have 101 mana per week. But you can only cast 2 spells above 5th level during that long period. Cool. Okay, great. So we got these in here. I'm going to take these and let's duplicate those layers. And then we're going to free transform, flip vertical. And then drop them into the terrain. Reduce their opacity just a smidge. And then drop them into the reflections. There we go. Shrubbery. Perfect. Now this shit's starting to look related. I honestly think this is pretty good over here. I don't think I really need to do more with this. I don't know. Maybe something? I don't know. What sort of something will we put there? Let's... All right, that's my timer. Yeah, let's do that. See, that was easy enough to dust in. Let's grab our brush here and tap at that to fade it in a little bit. That feels pretty good. We're going to tonight. We're going to work on the. I'll be back. Probably. I'm on call to fill gaps for a game of Super Atomic with AJ Pickett, Wally DM, Fred Wheeler from How to RPG. There's an occasional one shots that Super Pickett. AJ Pickett made an RPG, like a super system like a superhero RPG called Super Atomic, and about once a month we'll have there's a collective of us that will do it's a little like a 4 hour I think it's like a 2.5 hour one shot, and I'm on call in case we have anyone that's not able to attend. So if I participate in that session, that'll be from 5 o'clock till 7:30 tonight, and then I'll be on after that. But if I'm only backup today in case somebody falls through. If they have a full grip, then I am not obligated to show up. So instead, I'll focus my time and attention on the Color Mana Martial Powers development. We're going to work on if I play tonight, then we'll do the Warlock. If I'm not available, if I'm not on call tonight, or rather if I'm not needed tonight, I'll do both the Warlock and the Wizard. And then Saturday morning, we'll finish up with the Artificer. If I am on call tonight, we'll get the Wizard, probably the Wizard. We'll get the Wizard done. We'll do the Artificer Saturday morning, and then Monday night we'll do the Warlock. Maybe we'll do Warlock during lunchtime during the week. I don't know. But if I'm not on call, I'll get Warlock and Wizard done tonight, and we'll get Artificer done on Saturday, and then that'll finish off the 13 classes that have actually been published. I'm not going to worry about the Scion right now in this second pass, because this pass is specifically for existing classes. So let me add a little bit more. My thing locked up. There we go. I'm damn out of time. I gotta bounce out of here in a minute, but I'm not quite ready to go. Let's add similar patterns here. Let's see if I can make that look interesting. The resolution is off, so I'm just gonna ditch that. It was a neat idea. I think we can probably leave that faded. We can leave that faded bit in there. That looks okay. Get rid of it. Keep it. Yeah, let's keep it for texture. Cool. Okay, great. So we got this done. We still need to do the reflection. So we'll do the reflection tomorrow. And then we'll start in over here on this foreground node. And from there, I think we're probably going to be looking pretty damn good. Let's push this over. I feel like I want to push this over a little bit more. Like this, just to fill in that space a little bit more. And then we'll bulk this out with more forestry stuff. Technically, it's supposed to be here. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. I like how it's sitting, though. I really like the piece. It's a fun composition. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Here, I'll give you a closer look. There you go. This is pretty typical for a Bob Ross painting that I'll do. This is my jam. I love doing this stuff. It's super fun to do. So far, so good. So what, you know? We'll finish off the foreground. That'll look really nice. I don't know. Maybe I've been thinking about like a temple or a dragon's lair or something up here. If I put a dragon's lair up in here, I'd be able to have the dragon up here in the sky somewhere. That might be enough of a little fantasy burst to make this actually D&D related. But yeah, this piece turned out really nicely. Thanks, man. Glad you like. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. Okay, cool. That's it. I'm going to kick out of here for now. I'll be back tonight at some point to do more Color Mana stuff. Anyone that's new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 people. And this slow art D&D illustration gig, it doesn't explode in numbers. So if you guys think this stuff is cool, I really appreciate anyone that likes and subscribes to help boost my numbers. Once I get over 1,000, YouTube will actually put me into the algorithms proper. So I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully I'm earning it. I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot.